And welcome to our show, Geeks Wired Podcast, where we talk about video games, movies, TV, comic books, technology, and TLDR, the Internet of Things. And I'm your host, Bill. And this week we have Anthony.
Hello.
And Steven.
Howdy.
And you can also reach out to us and contact us by emailing us at geekswired@gmail.com or send us a text message or a voicemail to 801-896-4335 or 801-896-GEEK.
And please do that because Bill will read them.
Yeah. If you want them read on the air, just say so. And then there's also you can support us at patreon.com/geekswired, where you get the podcast early and get to chat in our Discord channel. And we're looking at some other things to see what you guys might like. But that's later. And let's just get into the episode. Let's see. This week, let's just start off with this spoiler-free news about Skywalker. Rise Up.
You mean Star Wars? That came out?
Star Wars. Yeah, this thing, I keep on hearing about Star Wars.
So strange. That's weird to me.
The Star Wars.
Yeah, I've been on a blackout for so long, I actually almost forgot it was coming
Since
out.
I'm from Puerto Rico, I call it the Star Wars.
Ah.
So we're talking about The Mandalorian?
We could, too. There's still another episode.
Yeah, there is. There's one more.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's talk about the movie.
The movie?
Yeah.
We don't have to, so we're not going to spoil anything. Just,
Except that part when the thing happens.
Then the twist.
Oh, man, it was just epic.
And then the other twist.
But now there's a twist.
Yeah.
A Mick
Lots of
twist.
Probably not McTwist. It's not sponsored by McDonald's as far as I'm aware.
So
I was referring to the snowboarding move you could do in Cool Borders, too.
Oh.
So everyone's disappointed, or Disney's disappointed, because it didn't do as well.
I'm so sick of Disney being disappointed about stuff.
What did it do?
Did like
175 million or something
What did they
in
want?
opening weekend. Well,
400?
the first one did 240. The second one did like 220, and this one did 175. I think this one was the lowest of the three opening weekends anyway, just for that. But didn't they set some crazy record though on Thursday though? Maybe they did. No, they got the fifth highest is what I was reading. The fifth highest Thursday rake in with like $44 million just on Thursday or something.
So it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It was like the fifth one, but still, I mean, that's top 5.
Yeah. Out of 9.
Yeah, I
guess 11.
I think that the whole thing comes down to the fact that, there was mixed reviews about the second one, or episode 8, and maybe some people just want to wait. I don't think that the opening weekend is going to project the actual earnings of the movie overall, because I really think that it'll probably hit $1 billion like every other Disney movie, it seems like, does. But I think that maybe, people now will go read some reviews, spoiler-free reviews maybe, or even spoiler reviews and be like, I kind of want to see that. And they'll probably go, well, that doesn't sound as bad as I thought it was going to be, and then go see it.
Well, the critics' reviews were terrible for the most part, but the regular people reviews were amazing.
See, I heard that too. I was reading, right after I watched the movie, I just sat there and read comments, you know what I mean? And there was J.J. Abrams, had his work cut out for him, and ultimately, I think he pulled it off. It's not the best Star Wars ever, but it was a good movie,
And and a lot of people, even though this isn't too great, so everyone's already like, oh, this is terrible. But yet, if this would have been the number 1 movie of all time,
right,
it would have turned around like, well, we'll see what's going to do next week. Because even though it's big, it doesn't mean it's good because next week. And I'm like, well, you got that with this too. You have next week.
Yep, exactly. So I don't think it's going to, I think it'll make money just fine.
You'll probably stay number 1 for quite some time.
Yep.
Probably through January.
I'd go see it again. Honestly, I almost went and saw it on Sunday morning again because one of my friends was like, hey, I want to go see Star Wars. I haven't seen it yet. Let's go in the morning. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. But we had partied the night before.
Yeah, life happens.
I'm tired. We almost actually went and saw Cats too. Not just because, it's Cats, although I like musicals, and I've never seen any Cats. I've never seen the Broadway one. I never saw the DVD cut of the Broadway one or the VHS or anything like that. So I'm curious ultimately about the play itself. I haven't read it or anything. But my friend Sage, he wanted to see it because he was saying that the CG in it is like so terrible that it's almost an experience to go see them clip in and out of the floor during the movie.
I've heard so much about this movie.
Yeah, and they're actually updating it. So he was saying that we got to go see it before it gets updated because that might be like something we could say that we did. We watched Cats.
So they're pulling a Sonic,
Yeah.
Except for they're fixing it after it's been released.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be funny if Sonic would have done that? Oh my god. Yeah, Sonic was stupid though. How hard was it to make that little guy CG and look just like the way he looks?
Well, but that's the problem with CG is that we know what things look like. So that's why dragons can be. We don't really have dragons, but we really have dogs, and that's we really have hedgehogs. You start putting human factors in them and emotions, and they suddenly you can't CG it perfectly, period.
Right.
Because everyone's like, oh, this doesn't look right.
I totally
dogs don't
but
smile.
at the same time, the way that Sonic looked before was just...
He just looked goofy.
But they were trying to make him more human is the problem.
Yeah. When
Probably.
They should have just made him Sonic
in
the first place. Yeah, one of the things that was interesting, this is pretty much a spoiler-free because I don't think they play the same previews on everything, but there was a movie preview in The Rise of Skywalker with Harrison Ford, and it was about that dog. Did you guys see that?
I don't
was that
think so.
part of your trailers? It was called. I forget what the movie's called, but the dog's name was Buck, and it's almost like a Balto-esque, movie, like an adventure movie based on a dog. But here, my whole problem with it is that all the animals, the dog, the bears, the wolves, like everything was CG. Man, all of the animals were CG. It was like the Lion King.
Call of the Wild.
Some humans walking around.
See, and we had the preview for
I didn't see that.
what's Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Dolittle.
See, and I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that one actually finally got me interested.
Okay.
Did it?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about this, but yeah.
I still don't know about it.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. That's cool, though. A new Dr. Dolittle, and it's going to be Robert Downey Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cool.
And actually, the Ryan Reynolds one. So I thought they were advertising the Netflix movie that just came out with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Six Underground?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Really want to.
Yeah, me too.
That they are advertising a movie that's coming out in like February, I think, or July.
That one.
Yeah, where basically like everyone's like, oh, we go to work. Like he works at a bank, and he's like, we just every day somebody comes in, robs the bank.
Oh,
and he's just like, is this really how it should be? Maybe we should do something. And the security
Among
cards.
others, like random stuff, like crazy stuff that happens as he's going to work too. So
yeah, oh yeah, he's just walking
like
to work
just absurd stuff.
Yeah, people like punch him, or just like rockets fly right by him. And
what?
He's
or
like,
just
oh,
jumping
da-da.
out of the window, rolling style, and they were like, "Hi, Phil," or whatever his name was.
What's that movie called?
I don't remember. It looked intriguing though.
That sounds really good. I want to see Six Underground though. It's in my
Free Guy.
queue. Free Guy. See, I didn't get that one either. Feel like I got gypped, man.
Maybe we'll take a break and
watch some trailers.
Yeah,
I'm down.
or maybe I don't know. We'll figure out something. Maybe that's the second half. We'll talk about the new movies coming out because I don't even know when that one usually comes out. It comes out later. But it looks hilarious. The entire idea though is he ends up like, I'm gonna stand up, and then he's like, gets beaten up, ends up accidentally killing the guy. He's like, oh, he's just sleeping. He has a hole in his chest. From the shotgun to the guy. These glasses are on the ground. He picks them up, and like suddenly he sees like, oh, bonus points. Hit this place to get so much money. Like all this video game.
Health
the entire
packs.
world is a video game.
Whoa.
So he
mind blown.
Yeah, somebody's like, we need a good guy.
Is it Sword Art Online, the live action?
It's like
No.
AR glasses, but the stuff you're touching in the virtual world actually matter. Because he's even like he got
'Cause you
beat
can
up.
feel it and you can squeeze things.
Well, he touches a health pack. He's like, oh, perfect.
So it's more like Ready Player One, but with
Yeah.
but
More
like
AR.
you said, yeah. Well,
more integral.
yeah, it's more integral.
Yeah.
Like if it were more AR, it would be Ready Player One.
True.
I see. Cool. Very cool.
Actually, that's nearly VR. Nearly.
Well, the thing is because they're existing in the real world, supposedly, unless they're Matrixy. That's going to be the interesting thing is like how they define how things work.
In Free Guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Free Guy.
Because
I'll be checking
Such a weird
to check
game.
that out. That sounds cool. Sounds like a cool concept.
I hope it's good, and I hope it's not something cheesy.
It might be cheesy,
Like,
but
what I'm like really cheesy, like not even good cheesy.
like Green Lantern.
I didn't watch it, so
I
I
missed
love
out.
Green Lantern. I've watched it like 20 times. Best movie ever made.
It's right up there with
Which
Avatar.
one's being-
man, you gotta
which one's
insert-
being
gotta
sarcastic
insert
here?
some cricket noises right after that.
I couldn't tell which one was being sarcastic. Maybe neither. Maybe he just really likes it.
No.
More power to you.
So he's been choosing a lot more movies, and he has a lot more power to pick and choose. And I think if he was to redo Green Lantern nowadays, I think he would have tried to.
Make it
But-
Was that him?
put better-
Like him or the
He was
way
still.
it was directed?
I think it was the writing and directing and all that. Like he didn't have nearly as much say. Like he was still.
Well, yeah.
He'd
like,
done a lot of
he's
stuff.
an actor, so
Yeah, but it wasn't
Doesn't
like
necessarily have
Deadpool where
to.
he was like demanding stuff.
Yeah.
no.
Which,
I didn't know he was doing that with Deadpool.
Oh man,
Oh,
he's
he
like a
put
huge
so much.
Deadpool fan,
Yeah.
and like he really he literally told them, if this does not have an R rating, then I will not do it.
And he was the reason the leaked pre-video or
Yep.
that came out the years prior.
Yeah, that like tech demo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he's, like Buried that he did. That it's one of those movies. He is the only actor in it.
Mm-hmm.
It is him in a coffin the entire movie talking to people on a cell phone. Like you hear the other people. That's just him in the coffin.
Was it good?
Oh my goodness, it was.
Really?
It was
I
really
gotta
good.
Check it out.
But it's like super like wow. Like you just like get the.
Was it Oscar bait for him?
I don't know if he won anything, but it should have been.
Yeah.
So,
And that's hard to do, man. Be a
Yeah.
one man movie. Like,
Mhm.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I feel like Castaway was really tough to do.
Yeah.
Like the Revenant. With Leo.
Yeah.
And that one other, he was like alone a lot of the time there. You know what I mean? Those like really show your acting chops, because it's like, how can you entertain me just by being on screen for 2 hours?
Mm. There's Anthony.
how old was that?
Buried, 2010.
Okay, so we can talk about. And that one, was it just like, was he talking to people on the phone to try to like rescue himself, or
They put a cell phone in him, and he was supposed to, because he drove oil rigs in Iraq, and they grabbed as a civilian.
Mhm.
So they grabbed him, and they're like, "Okay, call your government, have them either give us this money, and we'll give them the location where you're at."
Psych.
Well, he was also trying to figure out how to do it, survive, and everything.
interesting?
Did he make like a farm of potatoes with his poop and stuff?
Wasn't that he's literally in there for like 2 hours, like the entire it is just the length. I don't even think it was.
You'd run
It
out
was-
of air before anything.
They explained that there's lots of stuff.
Does he make it?
No, spoiler free. I want to see it.
It's like almost 10 years old.
I know. All
He wants
right.
to see it. I will not spoil it.
Oh, you want to see it?
Yeah.
I totally
Oh,
want to
my
see
bad. Fine.
All right. The other stuff that we have, I guess we move away from movies for a bit and go to movie makers like Cox Communication. They're getting a $1 billion lawsuit because they allowed piracy to happen back in a decade ago.
it. Okay, so what does Cox actually do? So Cox is a communication company, but they're involved in movies?
Well, they're one of the they're one of the companies that's they're like Comcast. Let's go.
Okay.
So they're Comcast. They're a version of Comcast.
Okay.
They provide people internet and
All kinds of multimedia stuff.
so they own. I think they're one of the big movie companies, or at least used to be.
Okay.
But they provide your internet.
And they're just like, hey, piracy's okay.
Well, they sent out a couple letters and they didn't do anything about it.
Hmm.
So it came out as like, nope, you owe us money because you didn't actually shut people down.
You didn't do what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what do they have to do, I guess?
You send out the
Like,
letters,
there's a notice that
Yeah.
you send out, but
and then you shut down their internet.
after so
Oh.
many
Yeah.
times, or what?
Well, that's what they were threatening to do, and that's what they were
Okay.
told they were
Okay.
supposed to do.
So they tell you, like, hey, we've noticed some specific or suspicious activity on your
Mm-hmm.
internet account, and these are illegal things that you're doing. Please stop.
Yeah.
And then if you stop, you're good. You have to keep your internet right.
Yeah.
Supposedly. And then if, it happens again, they just be like, hey, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they never did. They sent out like 3 letters and they just stopped. They literally made lists of stop sending letters to these people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, I mean, I totally get why they got sued then, because, companies pay them to distribute their stuff, and they want to make sure it's secure, and when you don't, pay up on your promise that, hey, we'll keep your stuff safe, yeah, I mean, they should have got sued.
And this has been going on since 2015.
Wow.
This lawsuit has been going on for a while, so.
Wow. That's crazy.
So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen with it. If they're going to suddenly like, oh, well, we're going to throw this on those people that we had letters on.
So they haven't said like how they're going to
deal
with it from now on. Like, oh,
well,
we're
piracy's
sorry,
not nearly as big as it used to be, especially in the music industry, because this is mostly the music industry stuff that they were going after.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, it seems like everybody's subscribed to some kind of music service now.
Yeah.
Like I use Apple Music, and you use what?
I use Google,
and
all of them, literally.
And then
I have also a lot, like a handful of them.
Okay.
I just triggered it.
And I totally don't mind paying a subscription fee to have access to all that music.
Well, along with that, it's also been really, really cheap. Because we don't normally pay over $10 for movies or for music subscriptions. Because they can't do like movies or TV shows or stuff like that. There's not like, oh, this artist is only available through so-and-so. Only available on Pandora. Only available on...
Some are kind of like that, or they aren't available on certain platforms at least.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like on Apple Music, they'll be like, this album only on Apple Music or whatever.
Taylor Swift for a long time wasn't on Spotify or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, but they were arguing about a bunch of other stuff and negotiating prices and all that.
Yeah.
But she is there now, and all these, if the artists have been there, there's not like a, Stranger Things. You only can get Stranger Things on Netflix, or if you buy it through somebody else.
I see. So there's not original music content made for Pandora or Apple. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like they
made
don't
for and locked in and all this.
That is interesting.
I wonder if there's going to be. Now that you said that, it's going to put the idea in their head. Way to go, Bill.
No, what they found, they kind of tried, and no artist really is in on it. They're like, no, we get to, because you're not paying us enough. Like, especially Pandora, like, oh, we'll pay like 10 cents per the billionth download. And it's like they're being really bad, just like YouTube has been lately. I'm just like, oh, you have to get like a ridiculous number, and we kind of sort of pay you unless you're a big artist, which means all these rising artists are now, no, we don't want to get in. But with Spotify and Pandora and all this buying podcasts, now they can own content, and they're sounds like they're going to try to start doing that direction.
Interesting. Yeah, because, believe it or not, I ran into that just before I came here. I was talking to my mother, and she likes Howard Stern. And I was telling her, I was like, oh, let's check on a podcast service to see if we could get Howard Stern, maybe in podcast form. You're not going to be able to listen to it live because the only way to do that is through Sirius, and it's like $13 a month for that. Yeah. But maybe we could get like old episodes that they have uploaded. I couldn't find any. Yeah. I could find clips of like some of his shows, but I couldn't find I don't know how long his show is. I imagine it's got to be like an hour.
Yeah.
But I could not find like a full backlog of his stuff to say, hey, you haven't listened to him for a while. Here's like the last 2 years of him.
That'd be interesting. And also, well, even the podcast thing is still interesting because usually even Pandora is only locking it down for like 6 months. So because, once again, the podcasters, okay, great, Pandora's paying me, but if I put in ads and push this out, I can make a lot more money too. So they might get exclusiveness up front, but they don't think they can officially own content. No, and they're trying. Comedy Central's putting out stuff. So these companies they own things that could be exclusive content, but it's kind of interesting. I think it depends on who they can get, and especially where so many podcasts have been being pushed out over the last decades.
Yeah, just tons of them.
Yeah, this year there was many, many more that came out.
It's so hard to find an audience, I imagine now, with it being such an old method already.
Well, but that's why new and noteworthy section's still populated. You usually get a hold of the podcast, whoever you're hosting the podcast, and you try to get pushed out through stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you go up the list. Apple, the way their ranking works, okay, today I get 10,000 new subscribers.
Uh-huh.
Good job. It spikes, and then they all stick around.
Uh-huh.
I will never hit the top numbers on the list for Apple because I spiked up and I stopped getting new subscribers. While if somebody else goes every week, they get 5 new subscribers. They'll suddenly hit like 7th, 3rd place
because they're trending. Like it's actually being consistent.
Well, they're gaining new subscribers. It doesn't matter whether these subscribers stay or not. They're constantly getting new subscribers.
Okay, interesting.
So leave us a review. That's still questionable whether because
that helps.
Yeah, Apple apparently used to be good on that. Now it's doubtful. It seems like. But if you want to leave a review, have at it, people.
Yes, please.
We like
leave
them.
A review.
Share it. That's really the big. Share it with your friends.
Yes. Hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah. On podcast apps that allow that. And so I was like, every time I hear that, I'm like, my podcast app doesn't allow that. And my podcast app has done quite a bit of stuff. It's awesome. Because Pocket Cast literally just did some major updates. So I can now, instead of hitting or to look at the show notes, having to hit a button, now I can just swipe to the side.
Nice. Very cool.
But that's the one I prefer. But also, they've lost their numbers ever since they went free. Yeah.
Oh, Pocket Cast?
Pocket Cast. Since they went free, they actually have less people that use the app.
Why?
Probably because a lot of people, they don't have the exclusiveness, and people weren't like, oh, because I would tell people it's worth the $10 to buy the app. It was worth it. Now it's like, oh, it's just another free podcast app out there. And I'm like, well, I invested in you. You're good. I still enjoy you.
Right.
I did try to, because Google has all this, for voice and everything, I was like, all right, fine, I'll try Google out. And where they spiked, then I made it about my 5th podcast I was starting to upload. And I was like, oh, I have podcasts through I forgot who we go through. No, I forgot.
Podbean?
No, not Podbean. No, Patreon. That's the ones. I'm like, why can't I think this? I support other podcasters through Patreon.
Nice.
And we give an RSS feed. It doesn't work on Google. I'm like, and I'm like, dead. Like, I'm out. I even uninstalled the app again. I was like, nope, dead. I can't.
Nice.
Google's podcast?
Yeah, Google's podcast app does not support RSS feeds.
Interesting.
So I walked away immediately, just out.
My mouth accepts pizza feeds.
I prefer pie myself.
Well, how about a pizza pie
train?
We lost the pizza pie cafe that we had. No, we didn't. I'm thinking of another place.
Yes, you are.
Pizza Pie Cafe still exists.
Exactly.
What about Pie Pizza Restaurant?
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, I think you're thinking about that one that it's like an axe throwing place now. Yeah. Pie Hole. That's
Pie Hole. I wasn't really a fan.
It was okay.
I went once. All right, what's up next? We got RoboCop.
Yep.
Robocall.
Yep, Robocall. I'm like, yeah, you can see RoboCop is going to go through everyone's cell phones and stop. So this is just waiting. This is apparently made it through. Very few people voted against it, but it's currently waiting on the president sign with the break. It's probably going to be next year. And he's in support of it. Robocalls are expected to get fines of $10,000 per call once this new law is passed.
So
and spoofing your number also counts.
So
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, that's gonna get other people too, but
it does. So I'm kind of questioning that because that means block numbers that government uses, spoofing for whatever legit things. That's gonna, but it's going after the robocalls or the spam calls.
How do they track them down to actually find them? And it doesn't matter if they're out of the country.
Oh, that's a good question. Yes,
because a lot of spam calls come from outside the country.
Yeah,
they they might start finding the country on taking care of this stuff. They could start finding the companies that sell to those. Come on, America has actually gone after entire companies that have sold technology.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah. Not that I'm against this. I'm
No,
all for
absolutely
it, but
not, yeah.
I'm just
Curious, because that's a good question. You know, because I would imagine that a lot of those robocalls come from out of the country.
Based off of the stir/shaken digital signature.
And those calls can be digital, right? I mean, they could be like using a VPN or something.
Well, all calls nowadays are digital. But yeah, so there's there's traceability.
Right.
It's not, unless you do major government or some super secret
cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Experts.
Yeah.
Robocalls.
Unless you have the money, which there's money obviously on these things, but unless you have the knowledge, the money, and everything in between, more than likely you can still be tracked.
That's so cool. Because I would never robocall anybody.
No, I like blocking all of them. They're pretty. It's useful, but the other thing also that works out really well is the providers are supposed to provide this for free. They can't charge for it anymore because plenty of them currently charge anywhere from like $1 to $10 per month just for the service.
Okay, cool. So it has to be included.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to affect like prank callers, right? So when I call you and ask you if your refrigerator's running, I'm not going to be fined $10,000, right? Only if I spoof my number.
Maybe, if you spoof your number or if you,
Okay.
Yeah, have a robot do it for you. Actually, that's kind of interesting how that works with Google now, because you can have the Google Assistant call. Like, is that that technically is a robocall?
Oh, man.
Technically,
ooh, we're getting
it's a very good robocall.
I think you could, based on, they'll probably have some kind of new agreement that you have to, like terms and conditions, where you basically waive or allow Google to do that.
Okay.
To spoof it. I'm
It's
guessing
going to be
that's
like
what's
one of
gonna
those things
happen.
you're going to have to hit accept on.
Yeah. No one's going to read it anyways, but.
Right.
They're so
it's going to be a
long
human Sentai pad from South Park.
Have Google just read it for us. So
that's nice. It took too long, but that's nice that something's finally being done.
Right.
Well, there's still the implementation.
Yeah.
So even though law passes, we still have like another year, at least.
Yeah.
So
that's if we're lucky.
So it'll be many podcast episodes down the road before we return to that subject.
Yes.
And give you an update. Sorry.
Though, with other things that are good with many podcasts down the road, actually, we're probably going to be hitting up the 10-year mark by the time this becomes a big thing. Amazon, Apple, and Google are going to work together to develop a standard for smart things.
What does that mean?
So that means you can go out and say, I want to buy a smart device. Will this work with what I have? And if your first device it's actually like
an Amazon device.
What was it?
You have a bunch of Apple devices, so they're gonna be like universal.
Yeah.
To work together.
And I forget, it's an internet protocol. I forget the official name is. Project Connected Home over IP. And the acronym for it is CHIP.
Chip Douglas.
Nice.
Yes.
So, will it be using Wi-Fi?
It'll be using IP technology.
Oh.
Or the internet protocol.
Is it going to be IP over Zigbee or something?
So
Zigbee's involved?
The Zigbee Alliance is behind it, but it's not, where so many things are not using Zigbee or Z-Wave or all these others right now. That's the question, I guess, is where they're going to go with it, whether they're going to take over the 2.5 gigahertz bandwidth that a lot of the low-end Wi-Fi uses in most people's homes.
2.4.
The Wi-Fi.
That one. And IKEA is also joining this, but they're not nearly as big players.
IKEA has a smart device?
Yeah, they do.
They have some smart things.
They really do.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those.
They actually have motorized blinds. They have really cheap ones. And everybody else is stupid expensive.
Really?
Yeah, and light bulbs.
So ones that you say like that you could tell them to open up the curtains and it'll just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really cool.
Otherwise, like in order to get it really cheap, you have to design your own, and like if your blinds are old and kind of, or not even old, but if they're just hard to turn, there's not really a way you're gonna be able to get it to work automatically.
Wow.
But yeah, it's neat.
Yeah. And SmartThings is also already part of the Zigbee Alliance.
Very cool.
That's
Samsung SmartThings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that part specifically. So it'll be nice that, so if everything is chip certified, you go, okay, my initial device, my Amazon Assistant, or my Google, or my SmartThings hub, or whether you go with a hub, whether you go with Assistant.
Phil's at home.
Exactly.
Smart home puck.
He has to be, chip certified.
Chip certified.
And you go out and get a light bulb, it's chip certified.
I wonder if this is going to be open. Like if you were to make like like Home Assistant, like it's an open source one.
It would have to be.
So you could do what you want to do? Like you could even make your closet doors open or something?
Well, no, like you could do that with anything really, but what I mean by this is
as long as the motors on it would be certified.
Like instead of having a hub that's connected to the internet, like if you really don't want it connected to the internet for whatever reason, you can roll your own.
Oh.
Or if you don't want to have to depend on like if this and that to trigger stuff or other stuff that's internet based.
Because it is regulated, I would say yes, because it's the same thing as with the Wi-Fi in our houses right now.
The Wi-Fi?
Yes, all the Wi-Fis.
That's fair. Okay.
Because they're regulated, but we can do with what we want.
Right.
Well, within means, obviously.
Unless it's
FCC,
illegal, and then we might get a letter.
FCC regulations.
Maybe a letter from...
They might knock on the door.
Probably not a letter
They'll
from
probably
Cox.
knock on the door. They're like, if you start pumping out like a watt or more of like, no, an amp. Like if you start pumping out an amp of 2.5 gigahertz, they're going to get mad.
You'd be like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
They'll get mad.
What is the meaning of this?
Pirate radio stations, they would go walk around a lot.
Interesting.
You have to kind of hunt those stuff down personally.
I'm on the hunt for smart stuffs.
So that's really
good. That's
with
cool.
that.
When are they expecting that to be implemented?
So that is going to be within the next year. They're expecting to work on that, which means it's probably not going to be until the end of 2021, maybe the early 2022.
Oh.
So this is years out.
So we're talking about the future here.
Yes. But at least they're talking.
No, for sure.
Everyone has all these whatever they want to do.
I'll be excited because right now the only way to get like non-HomeKit stuff connected to HomeKit is use this thing called HomeBridge, which is just like it's like a one-way import of your SmartThings stuff into HomeKit.
Your SmartThings stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I've been sticking with that. SmartThings, everything has to go through SmartThings, and then I let that be my point because I don't want more things on my Wi-Fi.
On your Wi-Fi.
You don't want it on the Wi-Fi?
No, my Wi-Fi has enough things on it, and
Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi takes a lot of burden.
Yeah.
Take our Wi-Fis for granted.
Yeah, you're right. Wi-Fi's because now we have two bands.
Yeah.
2.4 and 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the signals.
5 is superior. Unless you need distance.
The 5 is like, okay, yeah. I think that's what my internet provider has said as well. That it's a lot of it has to do with distance. So if you're like on the away from it, then you're gonna have to use the 2.5? 2.4. And then when you're closer, you'll be able to use the 5, which is gonna give you the faster speeds, though. Right?
Yeah, generally.
Okay.
And the 2.4 is just oversaturated right now. Like if you're in an apartment complex, your 2.4 Wi-Fi is gonna suck.
Oh, because everybody's on it.
Yeah,
everything's on it.
Yeah, everything's
even
on it. Your microwaves, your old cordless phones.
What?
Your Steam controllers.
And all your Bluetooth devices are 2.4 gigahertz.
I tried to buy one of those. I couldn't find one.
Oh. No, the Steam controllers aren't on sale anymore.
They're gone.
Oh.
You need to bring them back. Hashtag bring back the Steam controller. Just
at
least one for me.
But yeah, just one. That's all you need.
Well, I could see them making a Steam controller too, but they couldn't do a 3.
Why not?
Because Valve can't count to 3.
Oh, so funny. That was good. I like that.
I'm bitter about it still.
I thought you said there was something coming.
There is. It's
Alex.
with the VR.
But it's not. It's
VR
a prequel.
Exclusive.
It's also a prequel.
Oh, is it a prequel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a prequel. I don't think it's like a prequel, but it's like a prequel to like.
Is it a pre-sequel?
Half-Life 2? Like it's. I think it's between Half-Life 1 and 2. I don't remember though.
So it's a pre-sequel. Like Borderlands.
I just want them to come out with Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
They ended on such a terrible cliffhanger.
Yeah. I like those Half-Life games. They were the bee's knees.
I never played them. So.
You didn't really?
No.
Neither one of them?
You need to.
You never had the orange box?
Okay, I had an orange box, but I didn't play the game on it.
Oh.
What'd you play? Team
Portal.
Fortress? Oh, Portal.
Yeah,
I actually never played Team Fortress either.
I haven't either, to
Team
be perfectly
Fortress
honest.
is awesome. I
wanted to, but
my friend Sage was like a master at that game. He like won graphics cards and off tournaments
nice.
from that.
He had all the hats.
He did all of it. He was like way good at it. He liked it when it came to Xbox too because it was like had like a really good player base, and he still played it on PC. He played it on both.
Nice.
I think the way he won his stuff was on PC though. I think that was where the big like tournament stuff was held.
Yeah, I actually bought the orange box for PC and Xbox.
Yeah, I had an orange box, and but I had already played Half-Life 1 and 2 on PC, but I bought it just because back then I was playing on a mouse and keyboard, and then I was like, oh, I want to play with the controller. Yeah. That's basically why I bought it. But then I got Portal with it. I was like, oh, this is new. This is cool.
Yeah.
Portal 2 is a lot better.
I haven't played that one.
Yeah, Portal 2 is really good.
I know.
No, here's the thing. There's a co-op mode on that. Me and you gotta play it. Because it's amazing.
Yeah.
I forgot, what was the other game that I told you that was
awesome.
like the first-person shooter game that was Portal-ish?
Cube?
Yeah, it's possible. It's on my list of games that I own.
The Witcher 3? That's Portal-esque.
Have you guys watched? Actually, have you guys watched that?
No,
yet?
I've been meaning to.
Oh my god, I watched the first episode.
Okay,
and the second episode.
And?
Oh my god, it's so good, man.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
This is another one. I heard badness about it. I wanted to watch it, but
okay, you gotta watch it because I think, and I could be wrong, but I swear that when I watched the trailer to it, like back in the day, like the first one or whatever, that Henry Cavill was not doing a Geralt voice, okay? And then when you watch the show, he almost sounds exactly like Geralt, like from the Witcher 3 game.
Yeah, it could be. It might be that whenever they first did the trailer, they were just
showing what they had. Yeah. But man, whatever he definitely changed his voice, and it was so cool, man. He makes such a good Witcher. He's so cool, man. Geralt is such a cool character. He's like a fantasy medieval Jedi is what I would kind of equate him to.
Is it rated TVMA?
I don't know. Oh, no, it has to be. It has to be.
How MA is it?
There's nudity in the very first episode. Like, there is nudity.
So is it Game of Thrones level or?
Yeah, kind of.
Interesting.
But some of the love scenes that I saw, and like I said, I'm only 2 episodes in, were very tastefully done. So, they were good. They weren't just nudity for the sake of nudity. They kind of had like a reason behind some of it. Pretty much all of it. All the nudity had like a reasoning for it.
It furthered the plot.
Yeah, it did.
So did you ever play the games?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
All 3 of them.
Did you read the books?
I have never read the books, but my wife just bought the one that this is based on, which is technically like the first book.
Yeah.
And she's going to start reading it, so I'll read it vicariously through her.
Right.
What game would this be based off of?
It's not based on any game.
It's based off the books.
It's only based on the books.
Off the books completely?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they do a good job, though, of making it feel like the game in a lot of ways, because the combat, you watch the way he fights, and you're kind of like, wow, that's like how he fought in Witcher 3, you know what I mean? Like with that cool choreography, kind of like that Batman Arkham type of combat.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it is brutal, man. I'm talking like, if anything, the reason why it's TV mature is not because of the nudity, but more because of the freaking gore. It is just intense.
So is the choreography good? Because that's the other thing.
The choreography is masterfully done. Like everything in it. You know how when you're watching like somebody fight with a lightsaber, it's hard to really tell that those things are very they're light. A lightsaber is very light, and it's very hard in choreography to make them feel heavy.
Yeah.
Well, in this, they're fighting with swords, which are heavy, and you can definitely feel the weight of like blows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like through the sound, through the choreography, you're like, whoa, these are like heavy weapons. So it's really good. The choreography's, it's the best that I've seen, honestly.
Nice.
It's great, and the CG works really well too.
All right, cool.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah, definitely check out The Witcher. I was sold, as soon as they said The Witcher TV show, I was already like, yay!
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a big Geralt fanboy. My wife even made a Christmas cookie at our Christmas decorating party.
Yeah.
That was Geralt in
Nice.
the bathtub. But the fact that it doesn't tie in with a game, I like that. Still, I can still respect it, but they still kept the feeling of the game. Like, hey, this is an awesome guy. He's like a tough guy, and you're
okay. I officially have to jump in on this thing because I was kind of like,
I was planning to. Anyways, but...
Yep. And the magic is cool in it too, like the way it works.
Okay.
I do really like that they chose to do a TV show instead of a movie.
Me too.
I hate it when they some movies are okay, like you can do it pretty okay with out of a book, but sometimes you just can't.
I think that nowadays, I don't know, even Star Wars stories, I feel like should just go to TV, so they're so much longer.
I think they will in the future.
That's why there's all this extra stuff. That's why there's The Mandalorian. That's why the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Even the Clone Wars has another season coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's still even more. And even the characters they cut off, or they've ended in the Clone Wars, they've continued on, like Ahsoka, Anakin's
in
apprentice.
Rebels. She's in Rebels.
Yeah. And she's. So,
I was so happy to see that, man.
I
watched the
her
first
book?
season of Rebels and saw her at the end, and I was just like, oh my god, yes. Yeah.
Did you get her book?
I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Comic book or book?
Book.
Oh, really?
She may have had a comic book, too, but she has a book.
There's a Ahsoka Tano book now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Sage actually just recently got me the first issue of another Darth Vader comic, not the Darth Vader one that ended, but it's called Target Vader. Yeah, he just got me the first issue. I haven't read through it yet, but he bought me the 3-pack of like the most famous Batman stories. So it has Hush, The Court of Owls, and Frank Miller's. And I have never read Frank Miller's Batman. I'm ashamed, but yesterday I just read the whole first book. So I'm not done with the whole thing, but I'm done with book 1, and I'm like, man, how is it taking me this long to read?
I don't know. Those are good. Those are the good modern stories. I still, Contagion from like the late 90s, which is they kind of based the last Batman off of, because when this Gotham got all shut off, and that's how they finished up Gotham.
Okay.
When Gotham got shut off from the rest of the world.
So Gotham, the TV show, is no more.
Yeah, it's finally over. I once again, one of those shows that I was into it, and then I kind of between cord cutting and it being not quite available as fast as I want to. I think I got like 1 or 2 more episodes, but I'm enjoying it.
That's good. Yeah, I tried to get into it. I didn't get into it, but I'd like to give it another try now that there's so many seasons out that I could just binge.
Yeah, the first season was kind of, bad guy of the week. The second season they get better, and then they start really building the stories up really well.
I like that. Yeah, I have to check that out. What about the new one, the Batwoman one?
The Batwoman?
Have you watched that?
I haven't. Again, it's the difficulty. So I'd have to go hunt down the CW app.
Right.
Go deal with CW commercials.
That's the thing that sucks, because I like Riverdale a lot. And I was like, let me download the CW app so I can watch, because I hate having to wait a year. I got into it when there was just 2 seasons. And then, I've had to wait a year for the season to come out. But they only stock the Batwoman I saw on there had all the episodes. But the Riverdale one, it's like they keep 5. Oh, so they're like 4, 5, 6, you know what I mean? Like those ones, but you can't watch episode 1. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's like...
Though the old ones might be on Netflix. Because Netflix has been getting a lot of those as soon, like a week after the season ends.
Oh, yeah. For Riverdale, for sure. Yeah. Well, with the exception of it comes out in full seasons on Netflix.
Yeah, well, when the season, a week after the season ends,
right? Then
Netflix
the whole thing
will get it all.
Yeah. So I have to wait for that.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
because with Riverdale, I was like, oh man, they're already on this episode, and I can't go all the way back to the first one. Never mind. But Batwoman is one, since it's in its first season. Yeah, you can watch the whole thing. Like you can watch from episode 1, and they have like 8 episodes on there or something.
For the last few seasons on all those, I've only been watching the crossovers.
Are they good?
Oh, that is the entire reason to watch the entire thing.
Yeah,
like last season was great. This one
to Infinite Earths, that one has it been good?
For this season?
Yeah,
I haven't seen this. There's the seasons that went out. See, that's the other thing.
I don't know if it's out yet, but I've just been seeing advertisements for like the multiple Supermans, like the Smallville one and the Superman Returns one,
which is funny because he's also
not
Adam, the Atom. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's great.
Yep.
So if they're still doing ads for it, then that means it probably is really close, but not. Or they
Kevin Conroy is one of the Batmans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, good for him, man. He actually got some screen time. Because we've loved the voice, but
people are like, oh, he couldn't do an actor. He's too old. I'm like, no, that is literally it. You have old man Batman.
There you go, right there.
You have Batman Beyond Batman at that point.
See, I want to play Batman Beyond, so Hollywood, look at me for Bat. I want to play Terry McGinnis, and I want.
You might be a little old for Terry, though.
Clint Eastwood should be old man Batman.
Not the voice.
I would compromise with Kevin Conroy for
compromise.
sure.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Yes. And I would compromise for Mark Hamill as the Joker too. Yeah. No, TV shows are awesome. It's so cool that they've created that. You know what I mean? That you've been able to take books like Game of Thrones that truly needed a TV show to explain the story.
Yeah.
And such. And I feel like The Witcher is probably one of those that needed it too.
Yeah.
People that read the books are probably like glad, like Anthony, that they didn't do a movie.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad.
So back to like 5 minutes ago, the Star Wars Mandalorian.
Yes.
What do you think of the pacing on it?
Slow, bro.
Not too slow though. Just. But also, it's nice that it works with Google. I can tell Google to play it now.
They got.
They finally did.
They've got one more episode left.
Yes.
And it's not like it's been a bad show by any stretch of the imagination. It's been a great show. I've enjoyed all the episodes. But once they introduced that, yodeling Baby Yoda character, all I've been thinking about is like, Baby Yoda. I want more information about that.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten any. And I got one episode, and I just feel like it's going to leave on like a giant cliffhanger. I'm going to be like,
to be fair, the main characters of they don't know either.
Yep.
So
I believe that.
But
just knowing like the process of making the Mandalorian armor and that was cool, and all the lore behind it has been amazing. Like, and the action has been great.
I've been enjoying the pace. Like, I think it is a little slow, but it's also a nice like change of pace.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Compared to what the Star Wars, especially the newest Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that pacing was on hyperdrive.
Just like, oh, look at this thing over here. Oh, look at this thing. It's like this person.
But that's what happens when you run, a couple hours into a movie. That's why the prequels, I thought Anakin was an absolute terrible character, and then you go watch Clone Wars, and you're like, I get you now.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't hate the prequels because Clone Wars exists.
No, absolutely. And you know what? Like, I am on that bandwagon too, and I always was, just because Anakin's my favorite character of Star Wars. And I watched a video about Hayden Christensen and the director of Clone Wars specifically, and I remember that what they said made a lot of sense, and a lot of people think that Hayden Christensen wasn't directed right. He acted so crappy in that movie. But then when you look at what they were trying to portray, it made total sense. And then you watch the Clone Wars, it makes total sense. He is just a conflicted person with a million things on his mind constantly, and he's just awkward.
And he's really good at what he does, and he keeps being told he's the chosen one.
Yeah, back and forth, pull in all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of, I think it's forgivable 100% because I'm like, no, he portrayed him well.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't understand it.
Yep.
And that's why, the movies, if you go out past the movies, you get, when you go in the comics, you go in the books, you go into even just the TV shows, you start getting all this extra. Because even with the Mandalorian armor now, you get that from Rebels.
Yes. Yeah, from Sabine.
Yes.
Dude, Sabine is so cool.
And it was nice that they brought them back because because of Rebels, I thought the Mandalorians were just gone.
Yeah, me too. And then when you see them in the Mandalorian show and like they're all just kind of in hiding, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's... I'm just waiting for some lightsaber action in some of those Star Wars TV shows. I'm just excited about that because, when I was a kid, Episode 1 blew my mind. Because they fought like constantly, battle droids and all kinds of force powers, and I was like, "This is so cool, no matter what," And then in the Attack of the Clones, where there was that giant Jedi freaking war, where there was tons of them, I was like, "Whoa, that's so crazy!" It's so epic. And in these sequels, 7, 8, and 9, it's been less because there's less Jedi around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's understandable, but at the same time, I truly, truly watch Star Wars for lightsabers and lightsaber combat and stuff like that. Like, getting back to what we're talking about, Disney constituting something as a failure, something like the Han Solo movie. Now, I will admit that it's not that I'm not a fan of Han Solo. I like Han Solo just fine, but I never wanted to see a Han Solo movie. It's just not something that was on my radar. But I ended up watching it, and I was like, yeah, this was a really good movie. Why did everybody dog on it? Oh, because it didn't make a gazillion freaking dollars.
And also,
it was still a good movie.
It wasn't done the way they wanted it to be done. Like, how dare you destroy? It's like, no, was a great actor. It was a great movie. I liked it a lot.
I did too. I watched it and I was like, yeah, this was great. Had I watched it in theaters, I wouldn't have been disappointed.
Oh, I watched it in theaters. I was totally in. I even got the dice because I watched it like opening night and special showing and all that.
And for people that wanted to see that, I'm glad it was there for you guys. Do you know what I mean? I really am. And I just think it's kind of a bummer that they look at the bottom line of how much something makes versus was it really good? Because that movie was amazing. Yeah. Like the other spinoff, the Rogue One, was amazing.
Yeah. The only problem I had with Rogue One is they changed musical directors like halfway through it, and it kind of felt like that. The music didn't quite seem as
really
on point on that.
That's cool that you noticed that. Yeah, I did not notice that, but that's neat that you pick up on stuff like that because everybody has their things that they like about those movies. And
The Mandalorian. That's one of the things I love about it. Every episode has its own soundtrack. You can go to Google and just. I was like, and they release them. As soon as the episode drops,
they release that episode sound. That's cool. Yeah. That's way cool.
And I've been like adding it because I was like, I want the Mandalorian song. I want to throw it on my list of like, what my list I have, and I'm like, there's like 4 episodes out. I'm like, there's a lot. I'm like, every week I've just been listen through it, grab what songs I really, really like out of it. But I'm liking the entire playlist, and the music in the background is there, but it's not overpowering. It pushes along well.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah,
I like the artwork that they show at the end of each episode too. That's cool. It'd be cool to have one of those prints.
We should probably wrap things up.
All right.
So, famous last words. That's all you, Anthony.
Oh man, he's having to think about it.
When does this come out? This comes out after Christmas, huh?
Yes, right after Christmas.
All right. Hopefully you had a good Christmas. Yeah.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby Yoda, baby Yoda.
It's the